The signs that your parents are too strict. It's very uncomfortable to stay fully under control, although controlled by our parents. As an individual, we all need freedom in choosing things we love, or avoid doing things we don't love. But with the strict parents, all is about them, and as a child, you have no choices except following their orders and rules. In this video, you will know what are the signs of the too strict parents. If you have noticed the signs, you can do further step by communicating what you need and you want to your parents. 1. Too many rules. The first sign that your parents may be too strict is that they have too many rules you must obey. It's never a good sign. You are forced to follow all the rules even if you dislike them. As a parent, it's better to fewer the rules and focus on the important ones. Following through the rules is very important, but too many rules is not good as well. 2. Threats that don't work in your favor. Strict parents also often threats if things don't work in their favor. The empty threats are also frequently given to make children follow what parents want. Just save the drama and dish out the threats, because it will only encourage them to misbehave. Parents should think carefully to what they say to children. 3. Overstepping parental boundaries. Parenting is not a simple matter. But there is always the parental boundaries, which divides the things you can control and don't. But when you control too much, it is another sign that you are strict parents. Of course, parents can set the rules for their children so children can stay on track. The rules on how they behave at home and school are very essential, especially when it comes to safety issues. However, as the parents, you also need you to take a step back and allow children to do something and make a choice based on their own preference. Instead of so quick to say no with what kids want, discuss and weigh in first to see the both sides' preference and point of view. Don't overstep parental boundaries. Just like us, kids are also individuals that want to run their lives with their own choices and decisions. 4. Emotional blackmail. It's obvious that parental love should be unconditional even when kids does not meet our expectation. Emotional blackmail is the way that strict parents do when kids do not meet expectations or do not obey the rule which is made. If you constantly do this to your children, it will lead to misbehave that may explode at later time. Instead of threatening your kids or delivering the emotional blackmail, just say that you will always love them, no matter what and how, but you expect them to behave in the way you believe it's good for them. 5. Not watching what you say. Parents who are too strict also never watch what they are saying to kids. Kids are human that can feel particular emotions as the reaction of things they experience in life. So you also should be careful of what you say because no matter the tone, your bad or negative words will leave the emotional scars for kids. When kids do something wrong or far away from what we expect, just be calm and think things over before confronting your kids. It's also very important to carefully choose the words. Don't accidentally say things you do not mean in that moment, especially when you feel upset of kids' behavior. Hurting them is not your goal. The goal is to guide and correct the learning children. 6. Giving orders without any guide. We often find parents who constantly give orders and more orders to child without giving any guide, or they even don't be the guide for the child. When asking child to accomplish a difficult task, it's better to give guide and don't just order them to do that. Children need to know that parents will provide the back no matter what happens to kids. Thus you should let them know that you will always provide help whenever your kids need it. 7. Constantly cracking the whip. Another sign of a too strict parent is that they often crack the whip to get everything done. The strict parents always monitor or being reminder for children. They are the bad cop and nag, making children feel uncomfortable. If this is the highlight of your parenting style, unfortunately you are also considered as a too strict parent. 8. Broken communication. Communication is a very vital thing in every relationship, including children-parent relationship. Too strict parents generally do not have two-way communication with kids. They only order and order without willing to listen their children thought and feeling. Sometimes, they applaud themselves for getting the children to do their bidding. 9. Your children don't bring their friends over. Too strict parents usually constantly ask about probing questions when their children are cornered. It makes children feel ashamed when they bring friends over. Do you often do that way to your children? Or your parents do that way to you? So no wonder why you never bring your friends over. 10. You don't let your child explain. As mentioned earlier, that two-way communication is essential in parental relationship. You speak and then listen what children explain. But too strict parents never let their children explaining their decision, or voice their opinion. It's okay if parents don't agree with kids' decision, but instead of interfering their explanation, just hear them out and allow them to speak up. 11. Always work and no play. Too strict parents often make the busy schedule for children from morning to evening. The schedule is full of study, work, and almost no time to play. However, children need downtime and time away from work. Just like us, they need time to play and rest. The key is to encourage them to learn, not enforce it until they don't have enough time to play. 12. You're the only one doing it. Sometimes, children need to follow the trend and technology. But too strict parents often ban all things technological. If you are the only parent who don't allow your children to go online even with parental supervision, so you're considered as the too strict parent. In today's era, it's impossible to avoid exposing children to technology. It's the way to encourage children to go behind our back, so just allow children to do what they want to do under your supervision. 13. You say no to everything. When your children ask your permission for doing something, such as to go to the beach with friends at weekend, you always say no. Also, when children want to join football team, you again say no. Too strict parents always say no for things they don't disagree without giving valid reasons, and don't provide compromise or negotiations. 14. The rules are the rules. Too strict parents set the rules strictly. The rules are the rules and no compromise. Of course, there must be rules in place that are consistent and clear, so children know what is expected of them. However, it's also necessary to give a little leeway depending on the situation. From those signs, is there any signs you find in your or your parents?